And we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 142 of Fans of Power. I am Joe Amato, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Tyler T. Rex Baker. What's going on, T. Rex?
I'm ready to spit nail. That's what's going on right now, man. I'm pissed off.
Pissed off? Well, I guess before you get into whatever that is, first let me just say hello to Zentron, Adam Gabbard in the chat room, and I'm sure many others will be joining us. But no, what's going on?
Just found out today, because I think people are aware that the He-Man documentary has been announced to be released on Netflix, and people are getting their copies right now. And I had no idea about what we were supposed to do if you had contributed money to the Kickstarter, and just found out from our previous producer Doug Turner that if you submitted money to the Kickstarter, you're supposed to check in with the Kickstarter. And being that this was my first Kickstarter, I was not aware of that. So find out today that if you had contributed a certain amount and were supposed to include or do an interview video, supposed to have been submitted about a year ago. So I just found out today that I missed out on my opportunity to be a part of the documentary, and just now today submitted my info to get my copy that came along with the Kickstarter donation. So I was pretty red hot to find out something I was super excited to be a part of. Was not aware of what we were supposed to do and how we were supposed to make our contributions to it until today. So
Was that ever
I'm
something
mad.
that was emailed to you, or how are you supposed to know? I mean,
That's the thing, is that I found out through Doug that because when I submitted the money, and I submitted $200 for the Kickstarter because I was like, God, I want to be a part of this. And when you submit the money, and I've never done this before, so people who submitted money for this and that, more power to you. But it didn't ask for an address or anything regarding, hey, if you submit money, you will get this reward for this or this and this. Fill out this information so that way when we start distributing rewards and things, you will have your information and we'll get in contact with you, get in touch with you somehow. Never heard anything like that. And I figured that there would be a big announcement from the guys behind it saying, look, we're ready to start handing out rewards or doing the video contributions. We're going to be getting in touch with everybody individually. We'll set up a time. I didn't know what to expect. All I knew is that I submitted the money. It was just kind of waiting around to hear what was going to happen next. And come to find out, anything that was any info that was needed or any kind of contact with those guys was only done through Kickstarter. So I missed out on every single damn bit of it. And I was so pissed off and still am because I was, me and Joe would talk privately, like, man, I hadn't heard a whole lot about this documentary. Hopefully we'll hear something about it. And I told Joe, I was like, man, I'm supposed to do a video contribution to it and all that stuff. Wasn't aware that we were supposed to submit our own videos. I thought we were going to be like talking with the guys behind, like they would do a thing over Skype or something like that. That's what I'm saying. Like I had no idea on any of this stuff unless you sign to Kickstarter. And after that, I'm like, I had no reason to sign on to Kickstarter because I don't donate money to stuff like that. And this was a worthy cause to me, so that's why I'm like, just kind of wait around. And that, I guess that's my mistake. But still, I missed out on being able to get my contribution on there. My name is in the credits. I did see that, but still, that's not where you know, I was just so livid about that. God, it was just you. I mean, just hope that you could be a part of something like that, and to have contributed and still miss out on your damn opportunity. God, I mean, I just went
mm,
to a cussing fit with Joe and Nathan earlier today, and still just really just boiling hot over that missed opportunity. So all I can hope is that the documentary is long as hell, not 90 minutes, where a lot of good ideas and thoughts are all skimmed over. So I'm hoping that it's a long ass documentary when we get it in hand. And
wow, because I was going to say I didn't donate anything near that. I think I just donated to get the DVD, but I've been without my probably email access. That's probably been almost 6, 7 months. So I guess even if I was sent a message, I wouldn't know. But I don't know if I'd have to contact them to have the DVD sent to
well, see,
me,
that's the
or
thing. It's like, and you were contributing with those guys personally. I feel like with you, and granted, these guys are taking on a lot of responsibility. It's a big thing that they were including fans, and so. But I felt like with Joe, there should have been a little bit more of a action on their part to get in touch with Joe and make sure he,
I'm
is
sure I should still
compensated.
get the DVD. I figure I'll get the DVD.
I know, but hell, I just found out today that you were supposed to submit it. Like I said, I had no idea that's how Kickstarter worked because I just at the time didn't have money to throw around to people in general for their projects and stuff. But that came at tax return time, so I had the extra money to contribute. So just waiting around to hear announcements and to not hear anything, not through email. So because it was
Well,
only released through Kickstarter. So
I was going to say, I mean, they're all great people, and I'm sure if you contact them,
yeah.
maybe they'll make good by you, and do something for you. Because, like you said, you just didn't know. And, well, like I said, I mean, I'm sure they might make right and have something done for you. So, yeah, just
Oh
try.
hell, it's too late because the special features have already been put on the Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff like that. So getting my contribution on there, it's shot to hell.
Well,
So all I'll get is my copy that I got along with it, and that's really about it. I
well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope it. Yeah, I mean, I am sorry to hear that. I hope it doesn't put you in too much of a bad place, and especially for tonight, because I didn't know how your mood will be. I'm really sorry to hear that you wouldn't be a part
No,
of
I
that.
just figured this was probably a proper place to vent about it. I'm not going to dwell on it the whole podcast. It was just
Okay.
kind of, you know, um, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it on a He-Man podcast. So,
Okay.
but
All right.
that's all I'm going to say. But I'm not going to bring down the mood or anything like that because we're here to all have a good time and give everybody who's listening and watching a good time as well. So.
All right. Well, again, sorry to hear it, but well, we'll pick up the mood here and maybe liven up the spirits. We also got Eric Amen here, Zen Brown, Kendall's Winks blog has joined us. I think that's the first time Kendall's joined us. So thank you for joining us. That's somebody new. And let me see. I think that might be everybody that I mentioned. So, okay. Well, like I said, we do. We have a few different topics. We'll be doing like a character spotlight on Ninjor. We'll be discussing the Menace of Trapjaw mini comic, which that's a great ass mini comic. I mean, for those who haven't read it, I mean, boy, when you read it again, it's like, damn, you might forget about some things, and like I never really noticed this one detail, but it's a great one. But no, also let me see. I wanted to give a shout out to a couple fans too, because a couple people contacted me. First, there was Charles Lease contacted me. He's a new, well, at least for sending messages and stuff. Somebody new that contacted, so I wanted to give him a shout out. But he had, I think, like a couple little like hypothetical maybe questions. That's why I want to get to see just to make sure that I'm getting that right, because I think that he might have brought you up. That's why I'll scroll up. While I'm doing that, I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to just say quickly, because I just want to make sure I am reading from the right person, because there was two people that sent it, and I don't want to screw up who sent what to me in a message. I don't want to make that mistake.
No, I got nothing to say right now. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now.
He's like, no. He's like, that's it. But I'm for sure he sent me one message where I'm trying to make sure that it's the right person I sent. Oh, that was it. Charles Lease did have kind of a cool little question. It's one of those hypotheticals. First, he said that he'd love to see like Axel's version of you as Hero, because we mentioned that before.
Oh.
Yeah, that you love that. So I didn't know if you maybe had that print on your wall or a picture that maybe you could show to everybody, but it led to a question because he wanted to see that.
Well, he wants to see what it looks like.
Yeah, you could show everybody right now for those who maybe have never seen it either, but it's definitely a cool piece, and you'll have to talk while it's on so the screen switches to you. And
I'm trying to make sure that I'm let's see. This is one of my favorite ones here on the wall. If you can see it there, it's got, let me back up a bit here. It's hard for me because the way I'm holding this here, but you can see you've got Hero taking on Blade, Triclops, and Ninjor on the Blood Falls. Right there. Let's see. I've got my favorite heroic warriors here with Hero in the House of Chakotay with Lord Mask back there. We got Lizardman, Clampchamp, Mossman, and Cyclone. I'm hoping. Hell, you guys can't even see it. Damn it.
We can still get it. We can see that. It was still visible. There was a little shine, but we got it.
All right, and then let's see. God, this is so weird. Try this whole setup here. All right. How about that one? Can you guys see? What do you see there? I can't
From
because
that
I
angle,
can't tell.
I could see Skeletor from that angle, and maybe the guy is that the green guy or is that the green guy? I
See,
can't tell.
God, I can't. I can't.
That's all right, man. Well,
All
you
right.
showed a couple, but either way,
Well,
these are amazing pieces that Axel Jimenez did for you, and you got to at least show what he was kind of wondering is your version of being hero, having you as hero. But it
yeah,
led, yeah.
yeah. I've got several. If whoever asked the question, I've got. I mean, they're all here. I mean, I guess I could just grab them real quick, but I don't. All right, let me do that real quick.
Yeah, you go ahead and get that, and while you're doing that, I will probably get into the next question, but I'll wait for him to grab that off the wall. So now he's bringing that up here, and we'll see what he's got.
Okay. It's gonna see. Hopefully, well, damn it. See, this got glare and everything. God, this could not have worked out more worse. But how's that look?
That worked a little better at that angle. Describe what you got.
But I've got Hero taking on Retaro and the Driller from Thundercats in this one in front of Castle Plundar. Because with Axel's a big Thundercat fans like I am, and I still feel like those are two universes that could be easily crossed over. So that's something we also did with that interpretation of Hero, having him cross over with Thundercats. Since in my eyes, it hasn't been done properly yet. So I harness the talents of Axel to do that. I've done 1, 2, 3 Thundercat adventures. I've got Hero taking a monkey and Jackalman. I've got Hero coming into Third Earth with Lion-O battling 2-time. I've got Hero taking on Movie Skeletor. I've got Hero taking on Dialemog at the Fright Zone, taking on a mechanical shark under water with Merman and Clamp Champ and the Scuba Attack. I got all kinds of
And what's
illustrations by
cool about
Axel.
at least what's great about the commissions that you at least requested is you don't do usually the norm of when somebody says, "Hey, draw me He-Man and
No,
Skeletor." You
no, no.
usually pick characters that yes, almost nobody has seen a lot, which I like that. I like a diversity like that.
Well, the first thing I ever had him do was an homage to Clash of Arms, but I wanted to include characters that are not used as much because I loved his Blade and Soul Rod. That was the first thing I ever saw him do was the commission he'd done of Blade and Soul Rod. I was like, I want those guys. I want Clamp Champ. I want Lizard Man chained at the wrist, like they're on the run, being
Right.
surrounded by Soul Rod, Blade, Ninjor, and Tuvar with movie Skeletor, in place of Skeletor. And it's all set up like the Clash of Arms Larry Houston cover with the movie Grayskull behind them. Epic as hell. And that's ever since I've started working with doing an illustration with Axel, it's always about using characters that are not used as much
Which
or
they deserve. Characters
yeah,
like that
yeah,
need
because
more,
everybody's like,
attention.
give me Trapjaw, give me He-Man, give me Skeletor, give me Man at Arms, like cliche after cliche, which is fine if that's what you really like. But to me, you know, our merchandise and media and stuff like that focuses entirely too damn much on the bare minimum of the rosters, and that's why. And it's always fun, like having Axel draw Azrog for me. I had him draw Huntara with black skin because she was, intended to have black skin instead of purple skin. So I said, draw her with black skin, just like how she was intended to look like Grace Jones. So I had him do that.
Yeah.
I had him do. I was trying to think of another one here. Like a Triclops and Hero fighting Azrog, a Point Dread. It's an homage to the Power of Point Dread storybook with Point Dreads high up in the clouds, like far away on a mountain cliff. Like I wanted to do that in the rain during it, like a storm. Like I got all kinds of
Different.
crazy ass
Yeah.
ideas.
I mean, heck, I did that with a few artists when, Sean Scavarno, when asking me what I want, I say Zuba Rex, and the entire world said, "What in the hell is that?" I mean, I picked one of the most obscure characters in Masters history. Other people have drawn the Meteorbs for me, Sky High, which I named, by the way. I'm not just doing
Yes.
that, but Sky High. So, yeah, I've had things that are different as well, and I like that. It's eye catching. It's like when Axel years ago was drawing some stuff, and he was like, even saying, "Hey, Joe, what kind of things do you think would be different?" And I was like, "Why don't you draw some, draw the Comet Warriors like Stone Dar or Rock On?" He was like, "Well, I don't know what people would really think of just that." And then he was thinking, well, maybe he would put Stone Dar against Calyx from
Yeah.
MYP. And when he posted that damn picture, people lost their minds because they said, "Wow, that is cool." And it's something they don't see. So I'm glad you finally showed that to Charles. So, Charles, thank you for at least, asking about that and having him show it. And then he had a question. He said, all right, he says, "What Masters of the Universe vehicle or beast would you like to own for real?" He says anyone that was in the '80s series, New Adventures, Princess Power, 2000X cartoon, anything. He said himself, he would love it to be Stridor or the Road Ripper for having a real one. And that is kind of a cool thing because they think, damn, what could look maybe more menacing? What would be just cool and fun to ride? Because I mean, it ain't putting it down, but I wouldn't want a real life dragon walker because that shit would take forever for me to get anywhere in the entire city.
That's
It'd be
what
hard enough.
you would be wishing you had if you were like in a rocky terrain or something like
I
that.
guess so. I can't get across that chasm, but I mean, it was a badass vehicle. Don't get me wrong. I loved it as a kid, but I think of things that maybe were different to be. I mean, things that are almost intimidating, frightening. Like if, let's say, Spydor moved quicker. How badass could that be if you're on a gigantic Spydor going down the street, or even the one that gets no attention, the Fright Fighter? That vehicle, I
Yeah.
mean, it's menace. Yeah, I mean, it's menacing as hell. Who wouldn't like to fly their own vehicle? And I mean, the thing's got missiles, but I mean, I think I'd love myself. I'd love like a Spydor and maybe even Fright Fighter because it's just things that would just be so intimidating, but so cool to have a real life, life size version to own.
Definitely Strider would be my number one pick because I'm such an affinity for that heroic steed. Fright Fighter would be awesome, and the I almost felt like saying this for fun. Stilt Stalkers.
Do you say that because how much I told you the toy, even as a kid, annoyed me? I was like, "Yay,
No,
I'm on
no,
stilts."
I like the Stilt Stalkers as a kid. I still think it's
Oh,
a
you
cool
really did?
idea.
I thought you
But
did it to mock
obviously,
me. Oh.
no. I say it because I know you don't like it. I say it because no, it's not practical, but it's just fun to bring up the Stilt Stalkers in a conversation because God knows that the Jet Sled and the Mega Laser never get brought up. Period anywhere. So why not?
Jet sled would be
I might
fun.
have to have Axel do a illustration of Hero on Stilt Stalkers in some form or fashion.
Oh my
He's
God.
done the scuba attack for me, so why
I'm
not
trying
Stilt
to.
Stalkers?
I'm trying to envision how he can make an epic looking piece with the Steel Stalker, but
Are
he
you
might.
kidding? He. I mean, I have no
He
doubt.
could.
He could make the lamest character that you can think of and make him or her look menacing or heroic or sexy as hell because it just had that kind of faith in him to do that. So I know he can make the Stilt Stalkers. But see, I'd have to come up with a scenario that would justify, and that's my contribution. I gotta come up with an idea that makes sense from a battle standpoint. That because if he doesn't enjoy it, I can't enjoy it. So he has to enjoy the idea. So and he would come up with something. He comes up with ideas as well. But oh God, that almost sounds like a fun challenge to come up with something that makes sense.
Has to be going across something like maybe a big gap or in some kind of swamp or something. I mean, I can't even envision what. I
Yes,
don't know.
because just like in Snake Attack, which is where the only time it's ever used, is He-Man's in the swamp confronting Tongue Lasher and Rattler with Extendar. That would be awesome.
See, there, you have to put him up to the challenge. See, you brought up when you said the jet sled, I was thinking, now out of those three, jet sled would be fun as hell to get on that
Yeah.
thing and then zoom going. And what's weird is, new person in the chat room, T Dog. T Dog said jet sled for him, so that'd be pretty cool. So thanks for joining us, T Dog. Zen Brown. Zen Brown said, here goes Zuba Rex again. You know I got to do it, Zen Brown. But Zen Brown also said Battle Ram because it's 2-in-1. Yeah, that could be cool. I like that. And Zentron said the hoverboards for him. So I think
those would be pretty badass to have too. Because God, they looked awesome with the Air Centurions and Dolph on those things.
Yeah,
they're not very practical from a defense standpoint. You just got to be. I'd say you got to be one hell of a warrior to stand there because there's there's no seatbelt. It's strictly you got to have the strongest balance in the universe to justify staying on that. But yes, it would look badass though.
no, it would definitely. So no, I like that question, man. So I appreciate it. But no, I'll get to. I also wanted to give it a shout out to. He watched us earlier on Beyond Retro, but Hemo Talgi, he's a new listener to the podcast as well. So I wanted to give a shout out to him. So again, and thank you for sending the message. And if you pop up here later, but what I was gonna say, I wanted to grab one thing. You were talking about projects and like with the Kickstarter thing, with the Powers of Grayskull thing. Well, there's a man out there. His name is Matthew Rodriguez, and I think he's been working on this a while because I've usually seen him, showing posts on Facebook of things, and I thought even maybe characters. I didn't know if there was ever customs, but he created this comic, Defenders of Eden, and he's a huge fan of Masters of the Universe. So obviously, I believe influenced him to create this. And I wanted to give actual credit to everybody. It was created and written by Matthew Rodriguez. The pencils and inks by C.J. Edwards, and the colors and lettering were by Andrew Kramer. So, but I mean, it's a beautiful comic. He has his Defenders of Eden page on Facebook, to where you can look it up, contact him, because he says he could have some of these for sale for anybody that's wanting to purchase it as well. But what I liked is, some people sometimes when they see a comic with a lot going on, maybe want to critique it a lot, meaning saying, well, God, there's so much happening. Who's this character? What's this place? What is this? I look back when I was looking at the DC comics of Masters of the Universe back in the day. We were hit with a lot of stuff from characters like I said, new names, places. Just picture not having the toys at first, and you picked up that comic. You're hit with a lot, but they did it well, and he did this well too. It's not like he just crammed a bunch of stuff together, and you're wondering, oh God, there's just so much, and this is ridiculous to shove in the face. I think it worked perfect. It worked in the past and it worked now. And I don't want to ruin and spoil any of the names of characters or anything. Like I said, I was telling him I would at least give my opinion on what I've said of this comic, but not with spoiling, because I don't like spoiling anything for anybody. But the one thing I give him the biggest credit for is the writing. What do I mean by that? There was things that in the past, remember when we had some recent Masters of the Universe comics, to where they're using English vernacular, like, damn, shit, or, like cursing. I'm sorry, kids, for that stuff, but cursing or vernacular that does not fit in with Masters of the Universe. Well, at least Matthew gets this right too, because when I read this whole thing, there is no kind of vernacular like that, where it's like he's not using any slang that would connect with Earth, because this is Eden. It's a whole other world. So the writing and what he did was beautiful, but he introduces so many great villains and heroes, and each person also has a little build-up. You're introduced to a person, you get a quick little background, but it's not like it's forced and dragged on. He gets a quick background. You see how they all introduced, how they all band together to fight off this new evil that's coming. And Matthew, I just want to say you did a fantastic job on this Defenders of Eden, and just the art. The art is beautiful. The story is great. And for those who are wanting to get a copy or check this out, go to Defenders of Eden on Facebook, and you can contact him. And he did a great job.
He did. I will say, I'll keep with what Joe was saying though, but I did enjoy the two characters, Owlock and Saros. I thought those were some pretty interesting designs. I will say, I felt Owlock should have been fighting for the other side. I won't say whose side he's on, but
Okay.
looking at him, like, you know what? I think he should be switching sides there. But maybe Rodriguez has got plans to do a swapping sides at some point in the heat of battle there. So absolute credit for that, though. I'm thankful he sent us a copy of it there.
And Tech Trek, I really love the design of Tech Trek. I love that character.
Yeah, so, I figured you definitely would. Yeah, when I saw that as well.
So that's what I mean. I didn't want to show pictures of any of them, but you heard some of the names dropped. But if it does pique your interest, like I said, look them up on Facebook. And thank you for sending that copy, Matthew. Like I said, it's a great comic, and I hope you have amazing and great success with this comic in this series. And I hope it leads to a lot of great things for you and everybody that's working on it with you.
Yeah, it's good to see people with that kind of passion doing for these kind of projects as well, and just to see just how frequently this property is continued to influence, because it clearly is heavily He-Man influence, and it shows. And it's just fun to see just how much this property influences, writers and artists and customizers, just the whole art community and by large, whatever the hell. It just all it's just interesting to see how He-Man influences everybody through their particular type of art. So it's always fun to see. Just it continues to grow, that inspiration, and just, I got an idea just from looking at that. So it shows in this book here. So I suggest people check it out if they're interested in seeing just how much of an influence Masters is. And again, Owlock, I like that character.
There you go. All right, and thanks for that, Tal. I appreciate it. And I was going to say also, Grimbot just joined us as well, and he said his innocent mind is now corrupt because of my cussing. Apologize for that, Grimbot. Happens once in a while. It's just
shit.
Well, shit. Exactly. But all right, man. Well, I was gonna say, what did you want to start off with? You want to get into some Ninjor discussion, or do you want to talk about the Menace of Trap Jaw? Which one did you want to go
We'll do
into?
we'll
Because
do
both are good.
Trapjaw first, and we'll save Ninjor for the finale there.
Okay, all right. I wonder how many people really have not read the Menace of Trapjaw, or just maybe are going by memory. But it's just such a good damn story and introduction to Trapjaw. I mean, I love. You can go ahead, but damn, I love this
No,
mini comic.
I of all the introductions of, the wide variety of villains. Um, the Menace of Trapjaw is not in my top five. We've already said that. However, uh, its portrayal of Trapjaw is being such a dominant alpha male of a villain. Um, I really can't say of all the many comics that that we have at our disposal have been given such a an epic introduction to so much to where He-Man and Skeletor have to team up. At least in many comics, we've seen them team up to fight a common threat in Shigora and Evil Seed and other occasions. But to have just one of the standard evil warriors be introduced as someone from another dimension that lands in Grayskull by accident and it becomes so powerful instantly that He-Man and Skeletor have to team up to stop him. Like, that's a ballsy thing to do, to introduce just what will become one of Skeletor's regular henchmen. It's a testament to the writer of this, which I didn't think so. There's no writer credit on this one, other than we know it's Mark Texeira doing the artwork. But still, that's something that I think is sorely missed with a lot of canon, to have any evil warrior portrayed so dominantly and at least I will say this, in the MV Creations Trapjaw solo book that we got back in like 2003, I think, somewhere in there, where we see Cronus become Trapjaw. Very well done. I think most people would say that was probably one of the best, if not one of the best stories that we got out of the whole NYP run of comics and things like that. We had some good stories in there, but it left such an impression that people love to carry on that story. But this one here, and it's been mentioned before, and the prison star isn't actually name checked in this, though, is it? Did I miss it?
Did you say what? Because I got a glitch there.
The prison star.
No, they didn't mention that at all.
Yeah. Which is where Trapjaw comes from. So I'd like to know if and I don't mind. By the way, that reminds me, I made a goof on last week's episode about the gentleman we were doing that the GoFundMe for. I got what he's known for mistake, or I mistook what he was known for, and apparently Joe knew what I was saying was wrong and just let me go ahead and make an ass out of myself last week. So for people who listened to last week's podcast and saw me, explain what Larry O'Peely was known for, and Joe's sitting there like shaking or acts really weird about it and just lets me make a horse's ass out of myself. And yet I correct him on a regular basis on this podcast and don't do it maliciously, but he would rather let me go on and embarrass myself live on the internet. But no problem, just because he says, well, I didn't want to correct you. I mean, like I said, you correct me anytime I make a mistake.
Okay, well, let me just say one quick thing, and I didn't know how you meant it, but actually just a couple seconds ago you said the MYP comics and they were the MVC, but I didn't know if that's what you meant.
I said MVC or MV Creation. See, I said that, and then I said I connected that with MYP.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Just all right. I want to make sure because I didn't know.
No. See, look at that. I give him the opportunity. He's just chomping at the bit to say something. No, I knew what I said on that one there. He's like, it just shows you clearly Joe was just trying to be quote unquote humble last week, whereas any other time he's just like, I caught you, man. So no, I did not botch that. I botched last week.
Ass.
So yes, Joe is an ass right now. So last week, for people who listen to that, and you may not even care to pay attention, but I goofed what Larry Peely was known for. I apologize for that mistake. People listen to it at all and found out that the guy has got out of his financial hole and he's doing all right. So back to this though, I'm just curious at what point where the idea of the prison star, because they
You know,
reference it in
I'm gonna show
classics
my
and
yeah, I'll show my ignorance. I actually don't remember where that. I'm sure Grimbot maybe will join up and show it because I'm sure that's probably in that big encyclopedia book. I'm sure they probably covered the prison star, but I don't own that. But I know it wasn't mentioned here because I remembered. I kept thinking, well, what the hell's the name of his home world? They never
yeah,
mentioned it. It wasn't said at
they don't
all.
mention it. So
But
that's why I would just like to know, because from what we were given like immediate access to, there's no name check for this place. But I'm fascinated with this place called the Prison Star. That even though in the older classic bios that suck, the current ones are quite good, pretty damn good. They know who I'm talking about. Um, but it was referenced in that, and I did like that idea of this intergalactic prison that held a lot of larger than life villains, and Trapjaw being one of those. A very powerful villain that escapes, and it's just such a great introduction to Trapjaw. I'm really rambling too damn much.
well, that's no, that's okay. First, let me say, Febmon has just joined us in the chat room. Thank you for joining us and said that Trapjaw was such a threat that He-Man and Skeletor had to combine the swords to beat him. He said when those two have to work together, that is one serious threat. So yeah, it was a serious threat because for those who didn't know this, I mean, it starts off with Skeletor. After his hundredth times, he's always trying to get into Castle Grayskull, can't. But he figures he will, he knows of different universes, and maybe he can open a portal to another universe, walk 10 paces forward, and then come back to Eternia, and he would be inside Castle Grayskull. When he opens this portal, though, right when he opens it, a mayhem's already started because a criminal, which is Trapjaw, is being chased down by some, well, you want to say some kind of guards, whatever, police in this world, which was never name dropped in this comic. But as Trapjaw's flying down on his zip cord because they used that gimmick, which was kind of
Yeah,
cool. The zip cord, which I like seeing, coming down and like bangs into Skeletor and like Skeletor will get knocked back into the original portal that brought him there, but the one that he was trying to open that was still Castle Grayskull was fighting him even in the other universe. That other one that's open there, Trapjaw eventually gets banged into that portal. So then when when Skeletor gets back to Eternia, and then He-Man and Teela, King Grandor, Man obviously know there's some disturbance going on, and it's at Castle Grayskull. They arrive, of course, Skeletor's there, and they didn't realize that these tremors that are going on are coming from Grayskull. And boom, eventually opens up the jaw bridge, and here's Trapjaw. And Trapjaw is now juiced up on all this power that he could just feel, and he now is going to use it to probably take this world over. To where, He-Man, this is what I love. It shows how much strength is flowing in him because He-Man blasts Trapjaw right in his jaw, and you see his head go back, and then he just comes right back, blasts him, He-Man back away. Earlier before that, he blasts away Man-at-Arms and Teela like nothing. Then Skeletor uses his half of his power sword to shoot out this like energy that looks like demons coming out. And it just went right around and started going back. Trapjaw was able to use it to attack back on Skeletor, which I was like, damn, you're right. He's looking unstoppable. And of course, this is the greenish yellow Trapjaw that we never got in a figure back then. We got, of course, blue and in the cartoon blue, but this is definitely, no pun intended with the comics title, Menace of Trapjaw. It is a very menacing looking Trapjaw. He's quite striking and different from what we've known. But yes, He-Man and Skeletor realize the only way they're going to be able to stop him is by joining their two halves of their swords. They do that, but they're not striking at Trapjaw. They strike the energy source, which, if you look closely, which I was like, why did I never pay attention to every single panel? But when you then look back, the energy source that's connecting from Grayskull to him, when they snap it, he loses his power. And if you look back in every panel, sure enough, you see that energy source connected to him. So I was like, that was kind of cool. I don't know why
yeah,
I missed it, but yeah, I liked it. And they were able to defeat him. And of course, Skeletor was going to try his last ditch effort to, well, now I'm going to get inside Castle Grayskull. Jawbridge closes. Skeletor takes this knocked out Trapjaw as basically, well, this is the only thing I got good out of this. I'm going to make him one of my warriors, and then disappears. But great, great comic. If nobody's read it or haven't read it in years, I just love this comic.
I would love to see this as an introduction of Trapjaw in an animated series, or if there were anybody with any competence could give us a new one, take this story and make this Trapjaw's origin. Like I'll glad to pick this one over the whole Cronus storyline because you can't get any more badass than this. You know, an escaped convict from another dimension shows up on your planet and immediately falls into the powers of Castle Grayskull and becomes such a threat that the lead hero and villain have to team up. I mean, nothing concerning the whole Kronos storyline is in the same ballpark as this introduction. I mean, you can't get any more badass than that. And then to have him beaten and defeated, and Skeletor sees his potential, decides he's going to take him back, and who knows what he did to push Trapjaw into his loyalty. That's something I'd be kind of interested. Maybe he used card or something like that. I'd be curious to know how that would have worked out, because obviously Trapjaw is someone who works on his own, but to immediately give up that lifestyle and serve the Lord of Destruction. Be curious to know how that conversation went down.
That would be yeah, you like the hypotheticals, and sometimes like with some things, sometimes a background, a bio isn't needed. I mean,
no.
I always yeah, because you're right. Trapjaw is just Trapjaw like that. That's fine. It's cool how he became that, like you said, when they showed it in MVC's comics, and you could figure what could have happened in the MYP cartoon if the same thing happened. But I kind of like it. He's a Zeebo warrior, and what's funny is T-Dog in the chat room said that he hated Trapjaw's bad wrestling trunks in this comic. Now, here's the funny thing, T-Dog. I know what you're talking about because they're striped, purple and black stripes, and it does look weird. Not to sound goofy, but hell, maybe that's his kind of prison outfit, but in trunks. If you want to be silly about it, I don't know, because it is a weird
kind of like how prisoners in our movies have like black and white stripes. This is what they got to wear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's got to wear prison trunks because obviously he doesn't got a shirt on, so that can maybe be the explanation. And Fedmon in the chat room said the UK annuals and the UK Masters of the Universe magazine is where the idea for Prison Star first came from. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because I've often wondered about that, and I have barely touched on any of the UK stuff just because it hasn't been accessible, and there's so many of them to go through on He-Man.org. I just had never made it a priority to sit down and read through all that. So I'm glad he clarified that.
No, definitely appreciate it, because I've read some, but again, I haven't read all of those as well. And I even know that a lot of those UK stories and magazines sometimes use some of the ideas of characters that were never fleshed out here in the United States in comic form or anything else, like as for Rio Blast. And,
okay, all right. So for all we know, this is not the Prison Star. So this, shit. This is like buying into that bullshit, those bullshit bios that were written on those earlier classic figures. Yeah, but so I was under the impression, because I didn't use that as canon. I never have. But I was under the impression that this prison that was featured in this was the Prison Star, just not name checked, and that in some form or fashion, it was used as a possible canon for Trapjaw. And of course, the power that be at Mattel at the time put that in the bios. So obviously that was not the case, because this clearly then is not the Prison Star. It's just a generic intergalactic prison, or a prison on another dimension that Trapjaw escapes from. So,
or just his, not to sound nuts, just maybe just his home world, and he is just obviously a criminal on the run. You're right. There are so many.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want people to always use those original classic canon or classic bios as canon, because they're an amalgam of things that have happened, and plus some of it's just made up crap.
I'll be honest, half of it I didn't know, but I'm gonna have to look back. If you Fedmon, if you by chance know the exact annual it is, because you're gonna hate me for this. I own all the UK annuals, but I didn't read all the stories. But I don't own all those UK magazines because there's way too many of them, and they get quite expensive, and I can't get those off of eBay. But if it is in one of the annuals, let me know which one. I'll read it, because I'd love to see what it said in that.
Yeah, and I'd like to see if it was used frequently, like not just for Trapjaw, but were other villains in prison there? Like, was that used as an intergalactic prison for the Eternia world, or was it on another? I mean, yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more of that myself.
Yeah, and even Grimbot just chimed in. Grimbot said in the network Bible for the original show, he's escaped from the biggest jail in the universe. So I guess I don't know if they use Prison Star as the name, but I guess you have to come up with names here and there. I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't be, but I kind of like that idea, and it's not something that's so drastic and in depth and humanizes the character. Like, no, he's a convict. He's an escaped prisoner, and has joined up with Skeletor probably for a decent pay. So yeah, I'd like to keep it simple. Adds a little extra layer to him, but nothing that's like, okay, this is too damn much. You guys are overthinking this way too much.
But yeah, but either way, I do like the idea of him being from another dimension like that. Just a criminal. He popped up, from one way or another. Now he's on Eternia, and well, now he's going to serve Skeletor. But when he had his first debut in that mini comic, he was quite powerful, and yeah, it took the power of both those swords of good and evil to come together to snap that energy from coming from Grayskull. Because otherwise, you'd wonder how powerful could he been? Could he have been the one who now ruled Castle Grayskull?
Well, see, I look at it this way, almost as if like with that power source being attached to Trapjaw, I wonder though, would Trapjaw have been able to leave Grayskull completely with the power still consuming his body, or was that kind of like a tractor beam from the power of Grayskull? Like, and sure, okay, you by accident landed inside the walls of Grayskull, and you've been granted this ultimate power, but you can't leave with it. Obviously
Yeah.
it's written as a means for Skeletor and He-Man to stop him. But I'm thinking, okay, had he got past them, would Grayskull have allowed him to continue on with this, tractor beam of power following him, or would have pulled him back in because you cannot leave the walls with this power?
Think of that. Think of that. It's almost like in a way used for the sorceress. Remember, her powers cannot work outside these walls. You wonder, but if there could be some extra mystery, like maybe that is your. It's a curse and a good thing. Like maybe you want to finally be the one that gets the power of Grayskull, but within getting the power, you can never leave that castle. You'll have to
And
have others.
I like that idea. It got guys. We just made this up on the fly. This is not
We always do every time.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's fascinating because it's not using that bit in the story. That could be like the biggest like what if story. Like what if Skeletor did conquer Grayskull, but that would be the price that he would pay. That he would probably sacrifice all these evil warriors, ultimately win, but realize that he cannot leave the castle with what he has discovered. Like he is, if you're going to keep it, you got to keep your ass within these walls and never leave again. That's the ultimate price. And God,
we do it every time. Don't we do this every week?
I'm telling you, dude, it's sacrilege that you and I have not been tapped to pen a new series, develop new backstories and everything. God, man, we'd have a gold mine in our hands here. I'm telling you. We would be revolutionizing, not to sound pompous and egotistical, because Joe likes to call me egotistical maniac. I like to think that we could be doing the fans of He-Man a great service with our ideas and thoughts on expanding on certain ideas and thoughts, but not getting ridiculously stupid and silly and over the top with Trapjaw's real name is not Cronus but Gary. And he worked down at the delicatessen on Eternia until he had enough of the world, went on a crime spree, and was imprisoned by Rio Blast and sent off to the prison star. It just
you gotta think, because you got to think about when we played with those toys when we were a kid. We had all these unique characters, all these beings that were creatures or hybrids of some cybernetics or something. But at no point, like you said, did we question what they looked like or wonder about their backgrounds. I never thought, oh, what does Triclops look like before he was Triclops? I just said, that's Triclops. And then this is Birdman, and this is Trapjaw. It's like, there you go. So sometimes, knowing backgrounds or having backgrounds, it doesn't work for everybody, but no, that's been a fun one,
for the most part. Like, I feel like what we just did with that story, we're not expanding the background. We're expanding on clearly the power is gravitating towards him. And when they snap it, he's lost it. So just makes you think that that's like we're not changing Trapjaw's backstory or changing the dynamic of He-Man and Skeletor, because you're not given a whole lot of background as to what resides within the walls of Grayskull, because in every, like we did last week with the Sword of Skeletor, with the Vault of Knowledge, just one of infinite sources of power.
And it's like you don't want to know. That's what I mean. I don't want to know all of that.
I would rather not know. And I think in doing so, like, if you were to write a story where Skeletor successfully captures Grayskull, but realizes that once he has become victorious, hung the flag up on the top of the castle, but realizes he's been gifted the power, but he cannot leave. He cannot go out and conquer the world, because that's the price. You want it, you have it, but you can't use it.
Yep.
Only to defend Grayskull. You can defend your home all you want, but you cannot set foot outside this castle and take the royal palace or kill He-Man or whatever. Like that would be. Oh,
Let's pin it right now. Let's get this going. Let's get some artists. And thank you,
by God,
JSP,
let's
for
do it.
joining us late.
Grimbot, we need you to do some animation for us.
Stat. So, and JSP just joined us late, and you missed all the excitement, but definitely you'll be able to catch what we said, on a rerun. But we're still got other things we're going to talk about. So, but well, that's been so far the Menace of Trap John, all our crazy, freestyle brainstorming that we do, where men, as I've been told, so-called, we lack imagination. At least I seen this somewhere by somebody. I won't say any names.
What? Someone said that about you or us or people in general?
About men, people in general. I thought that was kind of cold, where somebody posted men lack imagination. I was like, damn.
Is this someone who's defending the new She-Ra cartoon? Like, someone who's just like out to, a bunch of grown-ass men complaining about a cartoon that was made back in the 80s. It's all that horse shit.
I really won't go in depth about this one. I can say to you after the show, but that was something that was said. It was kind of like, kind of disgusting to read. I can't believe I read it, but well, just proof. Look at that. We just freestyled something within 2 minutes when we came to the story, and bam. So there you go.
Yeah, what the hell do we know about telling a good story and treating these characters with dignity and not changing a damn thing about it that made them all great? Nah, we don't know shit about him. We're just a bunch of grown-ass men who just can't seem to get over our past. We like playing with toys and reading comics and stories. There you
go. So, all right. So that's been that. Now we'll transition into a character that, again, damn, would have been great to have him in Filmation, NYP, more stories of him, because you didn't get enough of them. And you'd think, well, it's just a ninja. But damn it, Ninjor is badass, and he deserved a lot more exposure. So what do you guys say about Ninjor before we really start digging into him?
God. Yeah, another story of heartache of a character like Clamp Champ and Scareglow. That such a simple design because the craze of ninjas in the 80s, but God, he looks so awesome. And to have a ninja alongside Skeletor, an evil ninja. And that's why, I thought it was so cool that we were going to get Slamurai. That was a figure that was coming down the pipeline, to have a counterpart to Ninjor, much like Fisto and Jitsu. You've got a heroic ninja dressed in white and a little bit of sky blue, according to Axel's beautiful illustration that he's done of Slamurai on the PowerCon 3-pack box art from last year. But I just felt like, God, there's so much fun to be had there. And those comic strips, the He-Man newspaper strips, they do a fantastic job of giving a lot of credence and legitimacy to having Ninjor in this canon, because it's fun that his ultimate goal in this, he's hired by Skeletor because he ends up capturing several of the heroic wars and captures the king, and he pretends to be working for Skeletor, but his main goal is he's there to steal Skeletor's Havoc staff. And I'll leave it at that.
Which we will be getting to those, because what's funny is you said that Grimbot in the chat room just said newspaper strip Ninjor equals Filmation Ninjor. He says you guys got to review that story. And next week, it's funny you said that. It's just a coincidence. Next week, we're going into the next part of the story. We're going to do it all in order and discuss that. So, the next chapter of that newspaper strip story we'll be talking about next week. But go ahead,
I want to do Ninjor. Joe and his continuity here. All right. Well, I'll at least tell people, hey, look, if you don't have it, it's worth getting it for that storyline. But we will get around to that story. But that just helps add to the very, what's the word? I don't have a word for it. I'm completely lost my mind here. But it's God, I can't talk right now. What I'm trying to say is that the character clearly had so much potential, and obviously it was short-lived because the line was canceled. So that's why I will say this. I'm not doing this as a plug, but I love the character so much that the next mini-comic, which I had mentioned before, if people are not aware of it, after the Leech mini-comic, I wanted to do one that focused strictly on Ninjor and Clamp Champ and make them the prominent heroes and villains of the next mini comic that me and Carson are working on. He showed me another finished layout or inks. They look great. So I really wanted to make sure Ninjor got a really great kick-ass story that makes him a legitimate threat and play up the whole idea that he he's rivals with Clamp Champ.
I like
A
that. You're right,
ninja.
because
Yeah,
obviously he's got a little bit of a grudge because after the search of Keldor, when he shot an arrow and you seen Clamp Champ catch it like nothing with his senses, he probably does. He has a grudge. Like, okay, this guy's got some reflexes. Like maybe they could have an epic battle. That would be nice.
yeah. It's just and they're used on the card art, like on Ninjor's card art. He surprises Rio Blast and Clamp Champ. On Clamp Champ's card art, he's breaking apart the nunchucks. In the commercial for the toys, they're doing homage to Enter the Dragon, and Ninjor is hiding around the mirrors, and Clamp Champ's got to find the right mirror and pulls it apart and finds Ninjor. Like it really feels like that Mattel or someone there or someone who's advertising these characters wanted to ensure that these two guys were going to be rivals. Like much how Jitsu and Fisto, not as much as you think, but they clearly were supposed to be rivals. I was trying to think of another example right off.
And even throwing, well, I was going to say, and even throwing Scareglow in the mix, because every time we've seen any of their origins, whether it's from Star Marvel, the UK comics, or just our mini comics,
or
it's
even
always
in the weren't they featured in one of the American magazines in the comic strips, or was that in
I
the
honestly
UK
don't.
where they're
That was
okay?
the UK where they, yeah. And the thing is, every time they've showed up, it's always been Scareglow and Ninjor showing up, with each other. In every story, it looks like that's when they were introduced in different ways and with kind of different, like where they came from. But I like the thought of it because some people said, well, what the hell is a ninja doing on Eternia? Again, this is from another dimension. I mean, what can only ninjas or these type of characters only
Or
exist on Earth?
Jitsu, like Jitsu's the only guy that's supposed to know martial arts. She can't have anybody else. No, according to some
I
people.
like it. I like having different beings from different universes. And what if hell, I mean, what's to say that couldn't have been, again, with all these multiverses, some different alternate Earth? And then there could be this ninja with these clawed feet. Because I prefer him with the clawed feet
Yeah, me
instead of
too.
just a foot. I like clawed foot ninja.
Well,
It makes him
I don't want to
more
say that he's
mysterious.
like an alternate Earth. I just like to think that he is a humanoid character with, like beast like
Oh, sure, just
limbs.
another dimension. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just another
yeah.
dimension, not necessarily from Earth, but because the least the less said about Earth being attached to He-Man, the better. Like I'm perfectly fine with Marlena being from Earth, but that's about whereas I'd like it to stop. Like I don't want to hear that Ninjor comes from ancient Japan and had deformities, so he was trained as a ninja, wore the mask and everything to
Right.
hide his
Or
deformities and stuff like that.
or he was sleeping in the car that got brought into the movie that brought to in the 1987 movie when you had Lubick and everybody. He might have been sleeping there. Oh, there's Ninjor right there. That's how he arrived from Earth. Like, damn it, not that either.
What?
I was like, no, because you said nothing about Earth, so I had to bring in the '87 movie with Earth, and how that they brought that one
You can't.
scene with the
That's
half the
not fair.
car.
You can't. You can't.
He's like, oh, that's sacrilege. He's like, don't you touch my '87 movie, Earth. No, I just
Yeah.
love giving you shit. You know
Well,
me.
no, when I say nothing from Earth, if it involves the '87 movie, all bets are off because everything involved in that movie is gold. But
Sure.
anything else, if you're going to say anything else, I would just assume that there is no other attachments to Earth other than Marlena coming in the '87 movie, and after that, it's like I'm sorry, game over. You just no. I don't like that at all. So I like to think that Ninjor comes from a completely different dimension. Maybe something similar to the environment of Anwat Gar, like that was featured in the Mystery of Anwat Gar, that kind of ancient Japanese civilization there, which kind of painted Cyclone as like a Asian character, which didn't really fit, I didn't think. But something to that degree, where there's a fantasy sorcery element to being a ninja in that dimension or something like that, and being brought over as a mercenary to work for Skeletor. But I could also see Ninjor as being someone who would hire his uh, skills out as well. Like obviously works for Skeletor for the most part, but I could also see him as someone that might do work for Negator, might do work for Shakoti and Mask, might decide to just go out on his own.
Some of the
Someone that
independent villains. That's like
yeah,
I like the independent villains.
yeah, I do too, and I liked. I mean, because obviously with some villains we've seen Trapjaw work on his own, we've seen Merman before, and things like that. But I like the idea because there's just something very special about Ninjor, and I've had Axel draw multiple times because it's like God, that's another character that has been so underutilized, has so much potential, and it's just so much fun to be had with a character like Ninjor.
Oh, it's just a
So that's
mystery, like I said, and I would never, even though Troy, yes, we've seen his face, and obviously it's a human-looking face, but I used to always like to think, could there even be more something more serious with his face, with like his body, that what he looks like? Because obviously with webbed feet, maybe he could have some like creature elements. That's what I like. It's mysterious. It's not just a normal guy in an outfit. Again, it's a kind of person slash being, and I love that. I love mystery. That's another kind of character I would never want to see ever reveal himself. Like, just leave
no,
the damn fit on. Don't ever show your face. But yeah, to be part of, like you said, his own independent group. Like if he did have Scareglow with him and others that maybe joined him, some of the other like independent, like Icer, Batros. What if some of these other ones could have joined him and they have their own little clan? Maybe they feel like they don't obviously need Skeletor. They could rule. I love the thoughts of just new groups. I love new factions.
factions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them, decide, out of the hell with this. We've been brought here against our own will. This jerk won't send us back. Fine, we'll seek out on our own. So him and Scareglow and join up with a couple of others and hire their talents out. Like they work as a group of mercenaries, and they'll hire their talents out to the Game Master, to Negator, to Shakoti Mask, to Azrog to retrieve Spider's wand or something like that, or to retrieve hired by Count Marza to retrieve the amulet or something like that. There's a lot. See, look at that. Look what we just did right there.
Are we doing it again? Are we using
we did it again here, people.
We did it again. We're not imaginative at all, males or not, but we did it right there. And also, Delvis78, thank you for joining us in the chat room. But yeah, he was damn it. It's always a shame that, well, obviously a line or a toy line or anything, of course they come to an end at some point. And some of these characters that are our favorites and my favorites, it's just, well, they popped up and then the line was done, so they never got to pop up in cartoons and get more exposure from every one of them, from Dragstore, Mosquitor, and Snout Spout, and Rio Blast Extendar, ones that you wonder, damn, how cool could they have been in cartoon, or having even more stories, because they did get quite a bit, especially in the UK. They were used, I think, a lot, but it would just been nice to have more stuff here for us to read as well, but not appearing in the the cartoons or even
well,
NYP.
See, I even have to wonder, because they stopped making He-Man in '85. And they were focused strictly on She-Ra and have He-Man and his cast of characters show up in She-Ra. So it kind of makes you wonder, with characters like the Rock Warriors, Tongue Lasher, Ratlor, Colonel Blast, Snout Spout, they all showed up in She-Ra. If She-Ra had been given a third season, would Clamp Champ, Scareglow, Ninjor have shown up in the She-Ra cartoon?
Been great to see Mosquitor. Oh man, that would have been great to see Mosquitor pop up there, or Dragster.
Yeah, and to see King Randor and the Sorceress. That'd have been awesome to see them in the cartoon as well, man. Oh wait,
but no, yeah, there you go. But damn it, and of course we never got the Snake Man or anything, and the real Snake Man. I'm not just talking about, like you said, Tongue Lasher and Ratlore for the Horde, but we never got our Snake Man and King Hiss and Squeeze and Snake Face and whatever you want to say for Blast Attack, which I say
he's a Snake Man.
Yes.
I don't give a damn what anyone.
I always say it too. He's a Snake Man. It's like, if every other faction can have a robot, then yes, they have their robot. It would have been cool, but of course he would have probably been the walking time bomb joke, where it was like poof, and always doing something stupid where he explodes and knocks probably King Hiss on his back or some nonsense. It would have been.
Or hell, they had Dynamite acting like a complete moron in Shades of Orko, so they'd have done the same thing with Blast Attack. Yeah. So,
damn, we never got Ninjor and MYP. Man, I wanted Ninjor and MYP and Scareglow. Damn, we didn't get that.
I would love to know. Just obviously we know the Horde was going to show up. It's been revealed that Clamp Champ was going to show up. But I would have loved to have known, like, would they have gone that much further? Because, I mean, hell, we got the vast majority of the. Well, we didn't get Extendar. We didn't get Snout Spout or Rio Blast. So I would love to know, like, would Season 3 have introduced the rest of the heroic warriors that never got an appearance, and more of the evil warriors? And, like, would Skeletor like to fight back, since the Horde have invaded? Would he have cast that spell and brought Ninjor and Scareglow to help bolster his ranks, to help stop the Horde,
and I bet you would have
his quest for. Yeah,
I bet it would have, and it's just damn such a shame.
And I would like to think too that Jitsu and Ninja would either team up or butt heads, because when Skeletor has the Master of Martial Arts at his side, and you've got this intergalactic ninja warrior coming, now do you see, like, oh, who's better? Would these guys look at each other as like, I'm clearly better than you are with a katana sword. I'm better with nunchucks. I can beat you with one hand. Well, I can beat you with no weapon at all. Like, I would love to know if those guys would see, like, you know what, I can respect him being a master of martial arts on this planet. I come from another dimension. I'm the best on my planet. Would they say, all right, we could team up? Or, you know what? Skeletor only needs one master of martial arts at his side. So would you see these guys like trying to undermine each other? Or just say, you know what? We don't need Skeletor. We can take over Snake Mountain. You
Again,
know?
possibility is endless. And another unfortunate thing that Jitsu never popped up in MYP. When you see that we got him real early in Filmation as, Chopper or whatever. You said never name drop, though, right? In the episode, did they
Nope,
ever?
not once, but he clearly is known as Chopper slash Strong Arm, because Strong Arm was supposed to be in that episode and was given to Chopper slash Jitsu.
Yeah, because God, the Horseman just did such an amazing job on that
Oh
just
man.
action and redesign of him. Oh God, if
So
he
that
looked
that
like
that,
that in
that
the
look of Jitsu
cartoon,
makes me. Oh,
I
if
mean,
we'd have
could you picture
gotten,
that? Yeah.
I mean, so that's why I almost pictured Jitsu look so powerful by the Horseman. I picture him being like a warlord, like he would be the guy running Anwat Gar, like to rule it with, you know, a iron fist, so to speak, with his katana sword, and maybe introduce Ninjor that way. Maybe if they were to mix it up a little bit, Ninjor is Jitsu's bodyguard. That Jitsu rules this particular area of ancient dynasties, but rules with an iron fist. He's a cutthroat leader. Jitsu is his personal bodyguard, personal
Just picture this, man.
assassin.
How great could it have been to finally have an epic fight? Because we didn't get it in Filmation, but how great could it have been to finally see what if he did ride into battle on Night Stalker, and then here came Fisto with Stridor, and there was an epic battle with them two. I would have pissed my pants if that would have happened in MYP. My God, that would have been badass. Awesome. Oh God,
It's
I'm
just
picturing redesigns of.
it's like all we're doing is just telling ourselves, you know what, it could have been great, guys. It could have been great.
We're saying stuff now that it could have been amazing for the cartoon, never came to fruition. But picture that, picture redesigns of Stridor and Night Stalker even in MYP. The steeds for Fisto and then Jitsu. Oh God, I think we're gonna have to quit this because man, we'll just be going on and on. I'm frying
It's
my
a shame
brain.
too that Night Stalker never got an appearance in any of the mini comics. Like, I know he appeared in I think some of the UK comics and things like that, but never once in a single American mini comic. Not one, not even a cameo or an acknowledgement.
I can't even remember the issue. But if I'm not mistaken, and I know people in the chat room would correct me, but I believe that one of those UK comic covers, He-Man's on Stridor, but it's colored as Night Stalker. It
Yeah,
was
I
like
know the
a
one you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. So I can't remember the issue, but I was like, "Hey, there he is," but it's not. They said, and I was like, "All right," but oh wait, and Grimbot just said that Night Stalker was planned for the show. Huh, what a shame it never
I
showed up.
remember I remember reading about that somewhere, that there was intentions, but and you think it would have been hard because they've already got the layout, just recolor them and put Skeletor on them. So it's a
Yeah.
shame that wasn't used, and it's a shame Strider was only used the one time. I just I wish Strider had been given a. That's why I love the horses so much, man. That those are my favorite vehicles, and it's a shame that um and it wouldn't necessarily. I mean, obviously, we'd like to see Fisto riding Stridor and Jitsu Night Stalker, but I've always liked to think that, that they're not just linked to just Fisto and Jitsu. That Night Stalker could be ridden by Skeletor, Triclops, Blade, whoever, and Clamp Champ, Fisto, He-Man, Man at Arms could all ride Stridor. I mean, hell, in Teela's Secret, Teela takes Stridor and goes off on her own kind of a little journey to herself before Skeletor captures her and hypnotizes her to work for him. But it's still cool to see that Strider was used as a trustworthy steed for anybody that in the heroic wars. I like to think Night Stalker would be the same, but probably more of a personal link to Jitsu. I always
I
like that
just would like it
connection.
just, but yeah, I just like the connection. That's why I thought it would be cool. And Grimbot also said in James's guidebook, he says you can see the model for Night Stalker. I
What?
didn't know that. Well, that's what he just said. Do you have James's guidebook?
Hang on here.
I was like, wait a second, what the hell is this possibly in here? And I never paid attention. We'll have to see. Is
This
he
one
actually?
here. This one here. Is this the one you're talking about?
Well, I'll wait in a second because he's watching and we have that 30-second delay. So I'll have to see what he says once that comes.
Grimbot, tell me what page it's on here, because I clearly did not catch that. Or if I did, I forgot it was in here.
All right, well, we're going to see because you just popped up on the screen right now from this delay. So if
Okay.
he said,
Well,
yep,
all
that's
right.
it.
Well,
He said it's in there. He said that is in
okay.
there. And now we'll have to see what page.
All right. Well, let me know where it's at, bud.
Oh, now he said pretty sure it's in there. Grimbot, don't you be. He said Skeletor's writing on it, apparently. So if it's in
All
there,
right.
I
Well,
guess.
I'll wait for him because I don't want to sit with a bunch of dead air while we're waiting on him to
All right. Well, I
let
was
me
going to
know.
say because we're pretty close to wrapping up. So if any of you guys, again, in the chat room have any questions you want to ask right now, remember this is the part of the show where you can ask us anything about mini comic, cartoons, toys, movie, whatever you want to ask us, and then we'll answer it. So anything that you can freestyle and think out of your head. But no, he still hasn't popped up with what a page number was there. So maybe he has the book by him, or maybe he's gonna find it as well, and we'll see. Because otherwise, like you said,
All right.
you may say, yeah, okay, all right. Well, from Zentron, first question is, which version of He-Man's Power Sword do you like the best? The classic comic sword, Filmation's Power Sword, New Adventure, or 2000X? Well, I'm never gonna say 2000X MYP. Sorry, I hate it.
Me neither.
I did not like it. I did not really care for New Adventures. Um, I don't know. I mean, I know there is a difference when you look at the Filmation Power Sword in the cartoon to the toy one, but I just always had, the toy is what I had first, and I just love the design. Of course, it looks pretty much close to Filmation. I know there's differences, but I usually don't get that detailed anal. I always assumed it's the same sword, but I mean, I guess you could just say the toy and Filmation just because they're just so close, I guess.
I'm same film.
What about you? I mean, I don't know. I just for me, I thought I always thought they were similar, but I know
I
yes, there's differences.
Yeah, Filmation.
So just Filmation. Okay.
Filmation, hands down. And then I
Okay.
would also, and since he didn't throw it out there, I have to make a point to it. The '87 movie Power Sword.
Okay. Is that your favorite or one of your favorites?
Oh, it's one of my absolute favorite. I mean, that would be the second one.
Oh, it'd be the second.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really different. I mean, it looks absolutely nothing like the sword we knew, but it was still a cool
It's
new
it's a it's a beautiful sword. It's a kick-ass sword. I mean, can you imagine? Could I look any more badass holding that here, off to my side here, and then you chime in and say, "Tyler, you're such an ego," and I go, "Full," just constantly just
it,
up your own ass.
because it was quite a tricky sword. I remember when I made a vintage custom of him. It was it was tricky for me to do. It was just different. I was trying to look at the details because obviously I didn't get a good close up look, and I'm sure there's places that I could do that. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken, John Adkin. I think that he has tons of images of things from that movie that he's posted before, so I could probably see it there.
Does John even have like a replica of the Power Sword from the movie?
That's something I honestly can't answer. I thought he
I know
had.
I've seen like people come up like recreate replica props of that sword, and of course they cost quite a bit of money. I mean, it would be well worth every penny if I had that kind of cash to throw at it. But
Oh, sure,
um,
sure.
I want to say he may not, but I just want to say I know I've seen it before. I just couldn't remember if he's got that because John's such a hardcore fanatic about the film like I am.
Yeah, I would
I
like
have
to
to
ask
ask
him.
him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that question. Adam Gabbert said, Joe and Tyler, if Super 7 asked you to submit a character design for Masters of the Universe Classics, would you do it? Well, hell
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
Adam, I'd do it. There, I can think that was both great. You, God, especially with all the
Like,
crazy,
nah.
like, nah, like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, no, yes, I would. I mean, Jesus, I think of all the original characters that I created for classics. Just when I was doing my customs and having fun, and then just creating a bio on the spot. See, that's a weird thing. You see how Tyler and I will freestyle and make a story. Here's the funny thing: every time I created a character, there's a design I had in my head, and I'll be honest. I didn't name the character until after I finished the custom, and then right when I started writing a bio, I looked at that character, then I thought of a name, and I wrote a bio, and it was like in 20 minutes. And I could show you guys sometimes, but I have a ton of these original characters, and it feels the reason it works for me is I know sometimes if I overthink stuff, it seems like then I'm questioning, oh, I shouldn't do that. Oh, should I do that? But you guys know me, I'm a motor mouth, and I keep running my brain and mouth so quickly. I work better when I think of a bio just like that. So, yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to. But, I mean, Tyler said the same thing, but God, yeah, I'd love to submit a figure to Super 7.
Yeah, I definitely submit Axel's hero. That's for sure. That'd be the first one that gets created. But I would
Right.
love to see I would like to see like a Minotaur design done. That's a kind of character, or a shark character. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
have a shirt.
if I couldn't get my version of hero done, I think a Minotaur character that would probably
Oh, a
be
Minotaur would be great,
yeah
because there's
yeah.
another character that would be great in Master Style that my buddy Chris Pacone did a while back. He created a cool ass gargoyle, and I was like, wow, that looked badass. A gargoyle evil warrior in Masters. I was like, that was a cool design. I don't know if you ever seen it. I can't remember where he posted it,
I
but
don't think I've seen
that
that
would
one,
be
but that I mean, yeah, we need a gargoyle. We need a wolf man. We need a werewolf represented in He-Man.
sure.
You
Hell
know,
yeah. That's, I mean, there's so much
yeah,
cool shit. And
yeah.
just a quick thing from the person who's recording of us, fans of Power, Nathan. He just said, "Of course, Tyler would want a figure of himself. Of course." So there, he's, I guess, showing that. You got
I
anything
wonder
to
what
say to?
Nathan means by that. Does he think I'm a pompous prick or something like
Yes,
that? I mean,
I believe that's what he meant. I'm sure he'll pop
hmm.
in, but yeah, that's what I
I tell
think.
you, he's got some nerve. I mean, who is he?
Exactly. You have to call him up to come on to the show. Yep, he said thumbs up. But all right. T Dog said, this is a quick answer for me. I don't need to go into too much depth. T Dog said, "Would you like to see He-Man show up in the new She-Ra cartoon on Netflix?" No,
No, no,
because
no, 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 no. They've
he
already
would be
botched
young.
that already. Leave He-Man out of it.
Just, and you said the name He-Man, muscles, powerful. That's what you picture when you envision a He-Man. And guaranteed, if he'd show up in the cartoon, obviously since
He
they're
looks
going
like a
for a
big
younger,
pussy. That's what he looked like in it.
well, well, what I'm saying is that cartoon, remember, is geared for a very young generation. So He-Man would probably be a boy, and no, He-Man has to be a man. So no, I would never want to see him in that cartoon because he would be a boy. He-Man needs to be how he always is. He's He-Man. He's powerful. That's how he looks. Anything less than that, it's not He-Man.
Is
I don't want
uncivilized.
no anything is on. I like that, but
Oh,
no.
yeah. I
That,
was wondering if you're going to catch that
yep.
because when you said anything
Anything is.
less, I instantly thought Right Guard Sports Stick deodorant commercials.
That's what it sounded like. But but like I said, I mean, what they're doing for She-Ra for the younger generation, it's fine. Like I said, that's fine for the younger generation. But no, my He-Man, I never want to see He-Man done by anybody being where he's a kid. I don't want a kid He-Man. So, well, that yeah. So, but thank you for that question, T Dog. Appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, Zen Brown. He was saying that he said, is he the only one worried about Hordak and how he's going to look in the new show?
Oh,
I have
no,
no
no. I think it's pretty much safe to say Hordak's balls are going to be cut off in that cartoon.
have no idea what he'll look like. But let me see. T Dog did like when you said wolf, like wolf war. And remember, we brought this up before with if I'm not mistaken, Secret of the Dragon's Egg, where we seen Goatman appear.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a Wolfman character. He was not name dropped, which I made up a goofy name, but I'll show you share that with you guys later. But there was a cool Wolfman creature. I was like, that would be a badass looking character in the figure. So yeah, I think everybody's pretty much behind that. And Wolf. Oh, hey, somebody just joined us. World of Muscle Men. I don't know where it was at, but he said they posted sketches of Hordak a while back. I honestly did not see that if they did that for the She-Ra
I
Netflix
didn't
one. If
either.
they did, well, hey, I mean, if you know where, let us know. I must have missed that. But
I'm not going to check it out because I've seen
oh,
enough.
and real
I
quick,
don't need to see anything else.
Grimbot wants to give you one thing to do. He said go to page 211, and then you can show us what this Night Stalker looks like with Skeletor. He said he found it. So he's been looking the entire time we've been talking. You're
I was
good,
going to
man.
say, I almost feel like you probably like just disappeared. Like, oh my God, I came up with something that was completely bogus on the podcast. Here we okay, I remember this now. Yeah.
Could you show me?
Okay.
Because I don't own
Yeah.
that book.
Well, it's not colored. You see it there?
Take it a little bit to your left. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, keep going a little more, and stop right there. Or wait, no, go to your right. There you go, right there. Stop.
Okay. Can you see Skeletor riding Night Stalker there?
Yeah. Okay, so all right, okay, I did see it. Thank you for showing the picture, but I never did see it because well, I didn't own the book. So, how much a redesign looks different from Stridor? Is it just a palette swap colors, or did
I
they
think
add?
it's just pretty much just a palette swap. That's it. Like looking at it, it didn't look like there was anything drastically different, to be honest.
Okay.
It just looked like because Strider looked spot on, like just like the toy, but that right there, doesn't look like it's anything different because essentially that's what Night Stalker is anyway. It's a palette swap. So I can't imagine it being anything else other than that. But Skeletor looks badass sitting on him. So
Yeah, because there are, as we know, there's differences, with the vintage toy. There's difference with the sticker designs, and of course with Stridor wearing his mask. But Stridor didn't even have the mask in the cartoons, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? That orange mask. Did he even wear that?
Well, I mean, he's got like it's not an orange mask. It's like this kind of maroon headpiece that's on his head that goes down over his snout. I was trying to think if they had a picture of him in here.
Okay.
Hey, James, why did you put a picture of that Strider in this book?
Yeah, because I'll be honest, I was like, man, I couldn't remember it, but I was like, what was?
Well, I guess I could look it up. It's not like the bright red helmet that you're aware of.
Oh, okay. So if anything, like you said, it would just been easily color swapped, just doing different colors because they weren't doing any sticker designs and all that stuff. So you wouldn't even have to worry about that. So. Okay. All right. Well, again, guys, this is about pretty much part of the show where we're going to wrap it up. But I tell you what, I really appreciate every one of you being here and joining us and all the questions and feedback. And just, it seemed like there was a lot of new people here. And I love seeing all you guys here and hope you enjoyed it. And of course, hope you're here next week. But, Zentron, before I wrap it up and you do your movie quote, Zentron, he has a movie quote.
Say that like this. You've taken my gimmick and you've handed it off to one of our listeners here. So now my gimmick no longer means anything here.
It means something. Remember, you have your main gimmick. This is him always trying to stump us. He wants to do something.
Yeah, and he wants to throw out movies that he says, these are all well-known movies like that. Hell, they are. If I don't know what they are, they ain't well-known.
Because Tyler, remember, he's the expert when it comes to movies. If he hasn't seen it, apparently, yes, it does not exist. Even though Explorer is a good-ass movie, and I felt bad I didn't know that last week. But, oh, God, what the hell is this? He said, ain't this where the Atomic Hoagie Shop used to be? Ain't this where the Atomic...
Once again, he's probably quoting some, like he's probably quoting that movie, one of the guys, where that girl pretends to be a guy. Well, and I've only seen parts of that movie, but...
Well, for him to say that, obviously this must be a movie where somebody went into the future, but I don't know. So Zentron, I do not know. And, yeah, so... I'm going to pass it along to Tyler before I wrap it up. So, Tyler, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to recommend? Anything else like that? Any reminders? Anything going on that maybe people need to have reminders on?
I will say, PowerCon is approaching. It's happening this month. So, if you have any intention of going, get your tickets and get your ass to PowerCon, so to speak. Go there. You'll have Axel Jimenez is going to be there. James Eatock's going to be there. A wide variety of the Filmation cast of people who worked at Filmation are going to be there. It's a hell of a selection. So anybody that is out that way or has the money to go, I encourage you to go. And someone say hello to Axel in person. I converse with Axel through Facebook anyway, but someone get a video of meeting Axel and have him talk to me in his with his accent and everything like that, because I can't get Axel to converse with me, via like Google Hangouts. We can't get him on the podcast. So I need to see what it's like for Axel to be talking about me like through video or something like that. So someone take a video and do an interview with Axel about what he thinks about Tyler Baker. We need someone to do that for me. If you're going to PowerCon.
All right. Yeah. No, Tyler really would appreciate that. Trust me, he really, really would. And Zentron gave the answer. And I'm going to tell you what, Zentron, I've said this before. That movie that you just said it was, I watched it one time and never again because I hated it. I don't even see it as being and you're going to say the same thing probably too, Tyler. I don't even consider this movie part of the series, but Rocky V. I hate Rocky V.
I haven't even finished Rocky V. I think I tried watching it twice and never even watched the whole thing. So if he's going to sit there, no. I take great pride in knowing that I have not finished that film. I own it, but I have no intention of ever watching it. So
what a damn movie! Believe me, my family, you know my last name, and me and my family, we grew up. You're watching Rocky.
That reminds me. Let me ask you this, because someone had put up like this mock poster of Alien, and then it showed Alien, and it had the alien, the xenomorph, with two green hands doing this. Now that's like an Italian stereotype. This whole like hold your hands like this, like when you're stressing a point. Yeah. What the hell does that mean?
No, I mean you're right. It's just like sometimes you do kind of just stress. Like you son of a bitch, and or that's a good.
But what does this mean? I mean, it's not like giving the finger or something like that.
This
but when
is
you do
This is
Yeah.
doing it. That's basically, flipping somebody off. This it's a curse. It's not, when people thought, I don't know, there was some rock band that did this or something and they thought that, oh, it meant devil horns. No, there's like putting the curse, and then if you want to reverse it, if you put it on somebody, you go like this, it's reversing the curse, because a lot of older Italian women, in fact, my grandma used to do that. She would point at people. It's if you fucking hate somebody and you want to put that curse on them, you do that. It's like the evil eye of the curse. But if you want to forgive and you go like this, it's reversing the curse. So there you go.
I'm wondering if Joe Amato does that in his hometown, like he's walking and putting curses on people.
Yeah, and hey, and Nathan just said Emily is Italian and she's never done that. Well, you know what? I hope Emily's watching, and if you ever piss her off or anything like that, I hope she puts the curse on you just like that.
She's an Italian
Okay.
Bostonian, so she's from Boston, has no Boston accent. As an Italian, she doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. She's just fake and phony in every regard, isn't she?
And T-Dog, that's pretty cool. He says, if an Italian man's hands aren't in his pockets, they're in yours. That's pretty cool, T-Dog. I'll allow it. That's okay. That's cool. Some people used to always make a joke. So like, how do you make an Italian mute? You tie his hands together, because they say we always speak with our hands. And well, and you know what's funny? If you watch this whole episode, you've known this is all I do. I'm always with my hands. I don't know what the hell I do if I couldn't use them. Good God, I guess. Well, there's a point. So all right. What the hell was I talking about? I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about angry Italians here. I'm waiting for you to do that to stress the point, but there is no actual a word that describes this mannerism.
I'll be honest, it's been used, but I never questioned that to anybody in my family. Just sometimes when you would really enjoy or stressing something, you do that. It was just a hand mannerism, but there might be a meaning. But I know the curse button, I know this, and
and he knows this, and I know this, and I know this, and
this is terrible. I hope Dan Rice and his kids ain't watching, because then tomorrow they're like, "Hey, look what I learned from Fans of Power." They're flipping everybody off.
Well, hell, I mean, I guess at some point these kids are going to stumble on some foul language films at some point. So if it's going to happen, why not with us?
Kids, don't do that at home. All of Dan Rice, all those kids, great kids.
Yeah, you don't have to emulate what I did. Don't repeat what you hear on this podcast unless it's, saying Ninjor is awesome. The 87 movie is the greatest film that's ever been made next to Predator, or something along those lines. Don't repeat the choice words that you hear from what I guess some might consider adults on this podcast.
There you go.
So, yeah.
All right, guys.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. All right, but no, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We really loved having you here, and hope to see you next week. So until next time, have a powerful day.
Henry Swanson's my name, and excitement's my game.
What was that quote again?
Henry Swanson's my name, and excitement's my game.
Henry Swanson? Who the fuck is Henry Swanson? Oh, jeez. God, I don't know. I'll wait for somebody in the chat room to see if they get that. Henry Swanson? I don't know. God, how do I not know this? I know Mary Swanson, from Dumb and Dumber, but Henry Swanson?
What happened, Henry? Some little filly break your heart? Swanson? From Cranston? Oh, yeah.
God, nobody's popped up yet with that. Maybe nobody else is knowing that. I don't know this. I think
I wonder if our good buddy Nathan knows that quote.
Oh, well, don't ask Nathan, because his ass is probably cheating. He's probably trying to Google it right now and then pop it up real quick. He's probably saying, I'm going to Google that quote. Yeah, he does that quickly. But, all right, what is it? You got to tell me.
Kurt Russell, Big Trouble in Little China.
What the hell?
When he goes to the White Tiger whorehouse. Henry Swanson's my name and excitement's my game.
Sure, is that when he was wearing the
dogs?
That's when he was wearing the glasses and had the suit and all that. Now, Jesus, see, isn't that terrible? Every time you say it, I see the scene, but I can't. See, well, I knew that. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been great. See you next week.